This week on commandN, how to save tech-savvy, Photoshop Express, and a new way to send mixed tapes. Welcome to episode 129. I'm Amber.
I'm Will Pate.
Will Pate, you're looking really snazzy in your suit.
Yes, why thank you.
I shouldn't say suit, it's more of a jacket and pants.
Yeah, I like jeans. That's where I draw the line.
You know, we're at ICE 08, so it's a conference happening in Toronto, and we decided to get dressed up. We got out of the alley, they let us in, it's all good. Can't complain at all.
Coming next on commandN, stock tips.
Stock tips. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
So how have you enjoyed the conference so far?
It's been great. It's always good to connect with old friends, and the sessions have been good, so no complaints. I've really liked it.
Very cool. I just got here, so I can't honestly say how it's been, but I expect it's going to be wonderful, and I'm on a panel soon with Chris Krug and Eli Singer and a couple more people, and we will be talking about networking and community online.
It's the Friends of Will Pate panel.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. We have to shoot some of it, too.
Yeah.
We just told Chris that now. Right? It's always like a surprise episode. All right, let's talk about the tech headlines of the week. Our headlines this week are sponsored by GoDaddy. If you go to GoDaddy to buy a domain name, you can get up to 70% off the price that you would pay at a competitor. And of course, if you enter the promo code commandN, that's number 1 and the number 0, you get an extra 10% off. Our first headline this week is about Bell, and news came out, there was an article in the Globe and Mail, that's one of Canada's national newspapers, that Bell is throttling third-party ISPs like TechSavvy.
Yeah, they're actually throttling all peer-to-peer torrents, so that would include stuff like BitTorrent, stuff like Skype. So I'm not happy about this.
Well, I think people knew for a while that Bell was actually throttling different sites, but the new news here is that they're actually doing this to people like TechSavvy who are providing internet services. Although they use the Bell pipe, they have totally different customers and different plans for customers, and one of their selling features is that they don't throttle bandwidth, and now they've started to do it, and there's been complaints to up to, I think, 20,000 customers from TechSavvy, which is a company I love, and I hear they have great tech support. So I think that, you know, Bell is getting a lot of heat for this. I blogged on my blog about it, and
it's like, and their new marketing campaign must be like, you can run, but you can't hide.
I think
we're going to get you.
It's a little bit like that. I think part of the problem, as I mentioned on my blog, is that people really don't understand what it means when they're throttling bandwidth. They don't understand the technical terms, and media doesn't do a great job of educating them, and so Bell can kind of get away with doing whatever they want.
I think we need to move the conversation too away from the technical aspects to more the cultural aspects of, you know, how it you know, makes it harder for Canada to innovate and to compete globally, how it makes it harder for us to export our culture globally. And I'm a big believer that in a globalized world, you have to export your culture to keep it, because you've always got other cultures coming in, you need to send yours out. And this actually sets us at a big disadvantage globally. So hopefully the folks at Bell will hear what we say and reconsider, but cross our fingers.
Cross our fingers. And some news from Comcast as well about BitTorrent.
Yeah, Comcast is apparently collaborating or partnering with BitTorrent, where they're no longer going to target BitTorrent traffic specifically. It's a bit of good news, but it's kind of backhanded good news, because it means that it kind of sets a precedent with Comcast, at least, that if you've got peer-to-peer traffic, like say your Skype, now you have to go talk to Comcast and set up a deal with them, which is kind of bad, because if new companies are, you know, startups are doing stuff with peer-to-peer, it's going to make it a lot harder for them to get into the market. So it's kind of good news, but not really.
I think the whole point here is that there needs to be more education to people out there who are using different internet service providers. And they need to understand that if you're on Skype or using a P2P service like BitTorrent, then if all of a sudden that service really slows down, it could be that your internet service provider is actually slowing it down because they don't want you to use that much bandwidth. And so, you know, what you want to do is be able to get more educated about this and possibly write to them and let them know that you're not happy with their service. And then hopefully if enough people talk, then there'll be some momentum and that can stop. This is my dream.
I'm hoping for a shareholder revolt, honestly.
I would agree with you as well.
Yeah, and we should say though that you know, when people are doing things like BitTorrent, it's not always downloading illegal, you know, movies or whatever. We talked last week about how CBC now is using BitTorrent. So as more and more folks start using BitTorrent as a content delivery mechanism, it kind of becomes less justifiable for folks like Bell and Comcast to kind of shape this traffic.
Totally agree. Now, one website where they're not worried about this is YouTube. And YouTube has announced that they're offering up statistics on their website. So a place where you can go and you can find out where people are visiting from. So there's a nice little map of the geographic location of your visitors, and you can really hone in on your stats a little bit, which is a big improvement, I think, to YouTube, because I think from the front end, YouTube is great. You know, there's tons of content on it. But as far as a content provider, once you get into using their account tools, something like Blip totally kicks their butt. So I think seeing services like this will be a definite bonus to YouTube.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that a lot of the online video sites can do to kind of help folks like us who produce content to understand our audience better, connect with them more, provide them higher quality stuff. So any kind of thing in that direction is good news, I say.
This is good news.
Yeah.
Now, Will, just before we started the show, you were showing me some videos on your website. They're sci-fi. Tell me a little bit about those.
Oh, yeah. So I posted this. I just love it. I think it's so cool. Kanye West, who is, if you haven't heard of him, you've probably been under a rock for a while now. He's a great artist, a great musician, and a very egotistical guy, but he's also very much into sci-fi. So what he did is he and a director actually took a bunch of classic sci-fi movies and re-edited them like a mashup you would see online to be music videos for his songs. So he did one based on Akira, one based on Tron, one based on Space Odyssey 2001. And I always love these videos where people mash up stuff to, in ways that they weren't originally meant to be used. But
hold on. Speaking of mashup,
telephone.
You can keep going, but I'm just going to throw my phone somewhere. How about over there? Okay, keep going.
I think you just broke your phone.
It's all good.
But yeah, no, check out the videos. I think they're great. I love them, and hopefully you will too.
Yeah, that's very cool. I just watched a little bit of it, but it looked very interesting for sure. My last tech headline is all about Photoshop, and Photoshop has offered up a free version of Photoshop online that's called Photoshop Express. So you can go and you can use tools that are similar to what you would find in the full version of Photoshop, obviously not as extensive, but good to see Adobe heading this direction.
Fantastic.
I wonder if it will kill some of those sites out there, though, who have been trying to compete with Photoshop.
Like who?
I can't think of some of the names, but there's all these photo editing web applications that are pretty good. But it's interesting to see a big company come into that space. I wonder if they'll be able to pull away a lot of people from that market.
They've got a big brand name, and a lot of people know who they are. I suppose it's all, at the end of the day, it's going to go down to who's got the best applications. So let the games begin.
That's you will, Pete.
I found a really cool new website called Muxtape, which actually allows you to create mixtapes much as you would back in the day. For friends and loved ones, and you basically upload these songs to create a mixtape, and then you can send it to your loved ones. So great way to do something people have been doing for a long time, do it online.
I love mixtapes, I have to say, and I love making CDs for people.
Nice. Well, you guys should make some mixtapes and send them to Amber.
That sounds like a good idea, but maybe a better idea is to post some of your songs in the comments on commandN.tv. Yeah, too much effort, all that mailing and everything. Save your money.
Hi, I'm Jeff MacArthur here with this week's Hot Stuff product review. I've just picked up a Monster Power Outlets to Go 3, and what this is basically an adapter so that you can take a single outlet and expand it to 3 outlets. Now there's a few nice things about how this is made. One, as you saw, it collapses down to a very small size so it can fit in your carry-on baggage or your laptop bag so that you always have a plug on hand. And this is especially great if you've ever been in an airport and there's a limited amount of plugs around, then you don't have to kick somebody off a plug to use it. You can say, hey, do you mind if I plug in my adapter? And then we can both use the outlet. Further to that, it's got this low profile front that actually goes into the plug sideways. And what's good about that is that if you have a single plug and there's another bulky adapter in it, then you can kind of go in between adapters, which is problematic in some situations. As well, if you need to put bulky adapters into this, they've spaced the outlets very far apart. So you have quite a bit of room between these, and they're obviously spaced sideways so that you can put a wide variety of power adapters in here and not be crowding out or covering one plug with another. Now it says in the packaging that it will prevent overloads with a resettable circuit breaker. I haven't seen that on here. I'm not quite sure where the reset button would be, and there's some discussion online about whether that's a misprint or not. So you'll have to take that up with Monster Power themselves. But in any case, for $12 to $15, it's a great handy little addition to your laptop bag that can get you out of some tight situations when you need a little bit of power. I'm Jeff MacArthur. Enjoy.
So now it's time for our fantastic web picks of the week. What do you have this week, Amber?
Fantastic is Will's word of the week. I like it.
Yeah.
My web pick was given to me by Chris. It's called My Gads, and it's a place where you can go and you can set up a web page where you can put really important information, like maybe travel information, rental car information, and then you can actually text that website to supply you with that information by using a keyword.
Ooh.
So it's a really easy way to get information to you via your mobile device. Also works via instant messenger that you may not be able to remember too clearly.
Guys, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Use this to remember all of your girlfriend's favorite things.
Oh, that's very sweet, Will. I like that. Very charming. And the service is available, as far as I know, in the United States as well as in Canada. I'm not sure about other countries, but if you guys know any other services, let us know and post them in the comments, because I'm sure our viewers in Australia and, of course, Sweden, my favorite country in the world, will definitely want to check that out.
Absolutely.
And your web pick?
My web pick this week is actually a very good cause. It's called the Sick Kids Radio Telethon. And we're going to bring on a very good friend of the show, Eli Singer, to talk a little bit about the telethon. They're trying to raise money for the Sick Kids Hospital, so I'm going to just stop talking now and hand it over for Eli to tell us what it's all about.
All right, we're going to put in between us. So,
yep. Come on in,
so
bud.
that you get our mics. And I have to say, friend of the show is hilarious. It's so Stephen Colbert.
I'm glad to be a friend of the show. Nice to see you all.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Sure. So the Hospital for Sick Children runs a radiothon every year. They have 3 radio stations broadcasting live from the hospital, and they interview families and patients and staff there to really kind of tell the story to people who don't know about the hospital and what kids go there for. And so what we're doing is we're video blogging it. We're shooting video every day of the radiothon. We're posting it on YouTube. We're syndicating it out to our friends' blogs and to the radio stations to kind of take it further. So we really hope that some of you check out and get a window into it.
And how can people check it out?
What's the URL? It's sickkidsradiothon.com, and we're posting 3 videos, and I think there's a 7-minute piece up there, and it's a behind-the-scenes look at how the hospital makes a difference in people's lives.
Amazing. And for people who don't know Sick Kids, it's a big hospital in Canada, and they do a lot of great things, and I'm sure anyone would be interested in watching these videos. Thanks for coming on. Now, friend of the show, you can stay here till the end. There's no rules, because we don't really have an exit strategy for the friend of the show just
You're stuck
yet.
here now.
You're
So
stuck here
that's how it
just
goes.
now. So if anyone has any comments about anything that we talked about on today's episode, Will, what can they do?
Party in the comments, guys.
Party in the comments. And next episode, we're going to have to get back outside, back to our roots, in an alleyway, you know, a little more grungy. Yeah, it's going to happen.
I'm going to wear a skull cap and some big shades.
I'll get on the Suicide Girls.
I love it. All right, thanks for watching and have a great week. I think the big part for us is content, really. We're getting content from our community, we're getting feedback from the community, and we're really listening to that. So in the comments area on commandN.tv, you know, on average, we have about 30 comments per show, and so we actively go in there and we talk to people who have ideas and criticisms. And so for us, it's really helped to make the show better because we truly have listened to the audience from day one. So I think that probably would be the most important thing. And then, you know, obviously a lot of people who like the show, they promote the show. And we're doing a pretty good job in terms of reaching out to our community and figuring out what they're doing. Well, maybe they don't have a huge budget for promoting, you know, a tiny little software application that they're building, but it's really cool, so we'll promote it on our show, and then they blog about us. And so it's like this kind of, you know, we're kind of giving back to the community, and then they sort of give back to us as well. So it's like payback all the time.